Hey YouTube, my name is Heather and I love anti-MLM content here on YouTube. Today I'm really excited for us to watch a really quick video from the Savvi corporate YouTube page about why the younger generation loves Savvi. Now, obviously, this woman is super, super young. And because of her age, I just want us to make sure we are as respectful as possible in the comments. And I know my viewers will be. It's just an extra reminder. And I want us to focus the conversation on exactly how MLMs target very, very young adults whose brains have yet to be fully developed, and how younger adults may be more vulnerable to be encouraged to join multi-level marketing companies. Now, I'm really excited to watch this video, and as always, please let me know what you think about this down below.
Hello, so my name is Zoe and I am 22 years old, and I just wanted to share kind of why I joined Savvi, why I said yes. And so, yeah, I graduated. So I'm 22. I graduated college last May with PR marketing during the pandemic. Yes, I graduated from my couch.
Please note this video was posted in 2021. So she graduated from college in May 2020, just 2 months in after everything was shut down, and she had to navigate going through college at home, which I know is really, really hard for a lot of people. And in my opinion, she really missed out on part of her college experience, like ending out her undergraduate degree with her friends in person. And I think college students really missed out on a lot because of the pandemic, just like the majority of people did.
And it was such a crazy time because it was already, obviously, we were all going through a lot. And then graduating in that, which is already stressful because you're kind of like, what do I do with my life? I don't know. Let alone during a pandemic when, like, literally no one knows what is going on. So,
I have a lot to say about this. She's right that when you're graduating university, you are already really confused because you're probably like 21, 22, and then you're expected to know what you want to do with your life. You're expected to know if you want to do more schooling or if you want to try to get a job. But it's really hard for brand new graduates to find employment because you don't really have any hands-on experience yet. And I found during the job hunt that it was really hard because I feel like you need your first job in order to get your first job. And all you really, really need to just get your foot in the door in employment that kind of resembles your education or your career goal. And then once you're able to do that, you can use that to leverage your skills and find another job. But it's so, so hard to get that first real job. If you've had experience with that, if you graduated semi recently, like mine was a long time ago and it was horrible. But if you're a bit younger and you graduated within the last 5 years or so, I wonder if it's still like that now and if it's still so hard for brand new graduates to find a good job. And I think, of course, that makes new graduates more susceptible to the idea of you can work for Savvi, you don't need to work that much, and you can make lots of money because she's going to say the people who just graduate are looking for direction, are unsure of what they want to do, don't know what they're going to do with their lives. And I think Savvi could really prey on that vulnerability, could pull in mostly, I think, young people who identify as women, right? Because they like to say that all women love clothes and already tell their friends about clothes anyways. So of course, brand new college graduates going to want to go into Savvi and just continue telling their friends about Savvi, about their clothes. Sorry, not about Savvi.
it was kind of a time that I was so anxious, so stressed out because I was like, what am I going to do with my life? Well, so I had a part-time job, more full-time basically, but I was just kind of like, I'm stuck because I knew my parents had always worked for themselves, and I kind of wanted to do that. I started doing social media for people on the side because I graduated with PR marketing, and I just kind of was like, what do I do with my life? And I knew I wanted my own time freedom. I knew that. I was like, no matter what, I want to start doing something on my own, no matter what that looks like, because I love to travel. I'm very independent, and I just knew that I wanted to be my own boss one day. And so it kind of was playing like, well, this is kind of the perfect time graduating during the pandemic when everything was going online anyways. So it was kind of like I knew my time was like now. I was like, this is the perfect time for me to start doing something on my own. So I was going back and forth.
So she really wanted to be her own boss and to have time, freedom. And I think we hear stories like this a lot when very, very young people exit university and have a really idealized version of what they want their life to be. And they automatically want to make lots and lots of money and have their own schedule and be 100% fulfilled in their jobs. But what I just talked about, where your first job out of university, in my opinion, it just needs to be kind of related to what you want to do. It doesn't need to be the perfect, beautiful, ideal job. In my opinion, you just need to get your foot in the door and like add a real job, career related job to your resume. And then you can use that and leverage it for like a position where you do have time freedom, where you could be your own boss. But I think it's important to showcase that you have real world employment skills and that an employer you were appealing to an employer. But I feel like we hear in MLMs this idealized vision of life as a brand new college graduate that is not realistic.
Between I was going to start a social media business and just something on my own in general. So I actually, the reason I even found Savvi from that was because in June, someone had reached out to my mom because my mom's a personal trainer and just telling her about Savvi because it aligned with her business and all of that. And my mom was like, I can't because of what I'm doing with my personal training, but I have a daughter who is always selling her clothes. I was the one always selling my clothes on Facebook, Instagram. I had an Instagram page always just for extra money. So my mom was like, but I have a daughter who does this anyway. So I'll just talk to her about it. So
it's interesting that someone reached out to her mom, who's a personal trainer, because maybe they thought that a personal trainer could push Savvi clothing to their customers and their clients. And in my opinion, that's really, really unethical. And we've heard stories about people, say Beachbody or Arbonne, partnering with gyms, right? And so fitness instructors will have products and try to push their products onto their customers, and in like real health supplement shops and malls, you'll see stories about MLM distributors pushing to have their products included in those stores. And it just really further legitimizes a very, very overpriced product that is not worth the amount that you pay for, and that you can find similar products of the same quality elsewhere for a lot cheaper. And I'm not criticizing this woman specifically, but it may just be how she's telling the story. But I think it's weird that her mom is like, but I have a daughter who does this anyways. I have a daughter part feels weird to me. I may be thinking too far into it, but we know Savvi, you don't make money in Savvi because just by selling the clothes. You make money in Savvi if you build a big team. And we hear this argument a lot. Well, I'm doing it anyways in Beachbody. I'm already doing the programs anyways and helping my friends with it. So why don't I just be a coach? But you are not already recruiting people to be a part of your Savvi downline. And so you are not doing it anyways. And it's not just a normal extension of your day-to-day tasks.
I think literally that night or the next day, I just got some info, and then the next day, I ended up enrolling and didn't really know what it was. I knew in my head, I was like, oh, okay, like this is the clothing that, I love clothes. I love posting about clothes, and I'm into social media. And I was like, I know a lot of people wear athletic wear. I personally never really wore it all the time. I wore leggings and everything all the time, but I never really thought, I don't know, I just love clothes. So I was like, oh, sure, like this is a great opportunity, whatever. Didn't really do much with it.
So she didn't really know what it was when she joined. She's like, yeah, I like clothes. I like to sell clothes. So of course I'm going to join. And I feel like she was in a position where she didn't know what was going on with her life. She was really anxious. And her life was kind of in turmoil because of the pandemic, which she's going to talk about later. And so I think that makes young adults, brand new college graduates, even more susceptible to joining these and just jumping in head first without actually doing the research, because you're so desperate for a change and you're so desperate to establish yourself as a fully autonomous, highly functioning adult. And this is all based on my own experience as a new college graduate and struggling to find a job.
June to like August or September or like October, I don't know. I was still going back and forth. So like for that 4 month span, I had enrolled in Savvi in June. So I graduated in May, June. And then for 4 months, I feel like I was still going back and forth on like, what am I doing with my life? Stressing myself out. You can ask my parents. And because I also moved home. So backtrack, I was supposed to have it. I had an internship in Florida. So I should have not even, like the pandemic allowed me not to go there. So I was not even supposed to move back home, not supposed to be in Arkansas. That's where I'm from. I was supposed to be in a completely different state, doing something different with my life. And so that was another thing I was really bummed about.
Imagine how sad that would be, right? Like you get an internship and you're so excited. And that's a great way to really build your resume and make you more appealing to employers, right? An internship right after you're done school. She was supposed to move away, be independent, and then the pandemic forced her to move home. And that made her more susceptible to joining Savvi without really knowing what was going on because she had a plan for her life right after graduation, and then the pandemic made it so she couldn't go. Can you imagine how devastating that would be for a 22-year-old person? And not even that, someone who just graduated and who thought that they could use that internship to figure out what they want to do with their life, and then that's taken away from you. Devastating. And I really don't like that this woman's mother actually what's the word, recommended her and encouraged her to be in Savvi. Just because your daughter enjoys clothing, it doesn't mean that she should be part of a clothing MLM.
Because I just wanted to travel and I just wanted to get out of Arkansas. I wanted to live by the beach, but I wouldn't have been in Savvi. I don't feel like if not. So that kind of happened. And so for that 4 months, I was just from June to October, whenever, September, I was just so confused in life and so stuck on what I'm going to do. I was stressing myself out, not thinking about Savvi. Well,
it's so sad because she's describing how she was vulnerable and how she needed direction and support in her life to figure out what kind of human adult woman that she wants to grow up into. And I'm just thinking of myself after university. I was also lost. I was working in a daycare after graduation for a full year because I could not get a job. I did like 14 interviews and only got one job offer. And then I quickly moved to go start that job. Just thinking about how I was mentally, emotionally during that time. I was either working or I was applying for jobs, and that's all I did. And I think I would have been a perfect victim to an MLM at that point because I was younger and I didn't know what MLMs were, and I was also really looking for purpose and direction and for a job that would make me feel valued for my education and my skills. And I could see myself being a young person recruited into an MLM because of that.
I was still plugging in. I was still like hearing what this was doing for people and how what really hit me, I think, was I was still tuning into this amazing community, but I was not doing anything with it. I was wearing the clothes. That's all I wore, but I wasn't telling people about it at all. I heard Christina Watts say that she has $6 in her bank account and now she's a founder of this company. And I feel like that is the one thing that I remember hearing. And I was like, what am I doing? Why am I not doing something with this opportunity that is changing lives? And I know at my age, being at the beginning, that it can change mine. And so
that's a great point. And importantly, look at the dog behind her. Super, super cute. There's always stories in MLMs about people who are at the top of the company who were super poor at the beginning and now look, they're millionaires, but they never actually acknowledge the privilege that they have by being in early. And I'm pretty sure Savvi opened up in like 2019, 2020, and now it's 2022. She's talking about 2021. And so unless she was like one of the first people in, like the first 100, 200, it doesn't really matter. Like it's not really a ground floor opportunity anymore, in my opinion. It could be ground floor if not many people have joined, but you're not getting in that early. If you join Savvi now, you are not in early, in my opinion. And she's talking about how important it is to get into an MLM at the right time because she's young, she gets in early, and then she can really establish herself financially through her Savvi business. And it's so interesting when other distributors talk about how important it is to get in early, and then they will go back and talk about how it doesn't matter when you get in, you just have to work hard and focus.
That really stuck with me, and I remember I just made that decision that I was not going to not do anything with this, that I was going to start telling people about it, and whether that be the close or how this opportunity could help them, I just decided. And ever since then, it has impacted my life. I have met so many amazing women. I have never been this confident in myself ever. And a lot of people would be like, oh, whatever. No, like, seriously, this community has changed me as a person. I feel like I'm growing in a way that I would not be growing without it. And just the positive community is really like I have student loan debts. I have things I need to be paying for. I'm still live at home because of the pandemic. I had to move home. So yes, I'm doing it for the income, especially at my age, but it has become so much more than that. And the people and the friendships and just this amazing community that I would not have gotten, I don't personally feel like anywhere else to grow me into the woman that I want to become. And so,
That's so sad. You don't think that you could be developing more confidence because you graduated university through a global pandemic, which, like she said earlier, graduating is hard enough. And she had to navigate missing out on potentially a life changing internship, living independently, and she had to move home with her parents. Excuse me. So I feel like someone could develop more confidence through navigating such a stressful and anxiety ridden time. But of course, the credit always goes to the MLM. It's nothing to do with her resiliency as an adult and her determination to make the best out of a really, really terrible situation. It's all to do with Savvi. And it also shows how vulnerable people were during the pandemic because people could not, for a while, connect in person, and it was really, really hard for people to find community. So of course people think that the only way they could connect with nice people is through their MLM coming out of the pandemic. And we know that you can find communities elsewhere. You can join clubs, you can join sports teams, you can go to like board game nights. There's other places where you can find people that you can connect with. And I just find it so sad that it's always the MLM that gets all the credit.
yeah, it has just been so awesome. And I definitely feel like if you're thinking about this, you are at the beginning. You wear these clothes all of the time. You're always probably posting on social media or texting your friends like where you got things. And we're not getting paid to recommend people to Target, Revolve, H&M.
You could get paid though if you have any kind of following. Can't you get affiliate codes? If anyone has affiliate codes for their social media, like what level of following did you need to get in order to have access to those codes? Like, is it 1,000 followers? I feel like at 1,000 followers, that might be when you start, but I feel like you could work hard and grow your platform to a certain level, and then you could get paid for recommending things.
We don't get paid to tell people we got our clothes from there, but you can get paid to tell your friends that you got your clothes from Savvy.
You do not get paid for the mere act of telling your friends where you got your clothing. And we all know that. I'm not sure if she knows that. I'm not going to say that she does and she's being dishonest, but we get paid if someone buys or if someone joins as a member of our team. And everyone always says this: we get paid for recommending Beachbody, we get paid for working out, we get paid for drinking Shakeology. That's not true unless someone joins your team or buys Shakeology.
And that's what's so cool about it is unlike anything else. And I was a number one person to be a skeptic of something like this. The number one person, I literally
Look at her dog. Oh my gosh, he's so fluffy.
ignored people all the time when they would ask me to join things. But y'all, this is different. The community that you get will change your life if you want that. And so I just encourage you to really think about this because you never know where it can take you. I did not know back in June when I was like, oh, yeah, I'm just going to enroll for the close that this would turn into something that it has.
I wonder what she means by that because people always say like, "Oh, I'm achieving my wildest dreams. I can stay home and do this full time." But then a lot of Beachbody coaches will say that when they're at a rank that doesn't really provide that level of income, but they don't say that their spouse has a really amazing job or maybe they make $150,000 a year and the coach doesn't necessarily need to work in order to support the family and they're not really relying on their Beachbody income. And so I wonder what she means. I wonder if she's paying off some of her debt, if she's saving to move out of her parents' house and buy an apartment. I just wonder what she means. Something that I find really sad with this video is that she's in like a very critical time in her development and her life. And when you're 22 out of school, I feel like you should be focusing on figuring out what you're passionate about, figuring out what kind of job you want. And she's not only wasting her money here, but in my opinion, I think she's wasting her time. She's wasting her time to figure out what she really wants to do with her life, and she's not going to get this time back. And so I really hope this is an old video. I hope this young woman is out of Savvi and is focusing on herself and is focusing on figuring out what she wants to do. And she's not spending her time in this MLM anymore. I really, really hope so. So that's all I have for today. Please let me know your thoughts down below while being respectful of this young woman because she's extremely young and I don't want any of the comments to be about her in general. Her specifically, not in general. Sorry. So I hope you enjoyed it and please let me know your thoughts down below. Bye.